The Esports arena in downtown Los Angeles fell silent in a way that only happens when thousands of people collectively decide to hate the same sentence at the same time. It was July 2023, and the Global Legends Invitational had drawn the best five-man squads from North America, Europe, Korea, China, Southeast Asia, and a small but loud delegation from the Philippines who had emptied savings, sold motorbikes, and borrowed from Tito's just to be there. The world watched through streaming platforms, highlight channels, and clipped-out trash talk segments. On the main stage, under blinding LED lights and a massive 4K screen, sat Team Apex, the home crowd favorite from the United States, at their center, wearing a custom jersey with his nickname in neon green. Was their captain and star player, VexX. VexX was 23, a mechanical prodigy with perfect crosshair placement and a social media presence built on equal parts skill and arrogance. He was the kind of player who tweeted gears after stomping ladder matches and turned post-game interviews into stand-up routines at other teams' expense. Brands loved his numbers, hated his mouth, and paid him anyway. Opposite them, at the other desk, sat Team Barangay 5 from Manila, name that had started as a joke and stuck. Their jerseys didn't quite match. One player's headset cushion was patched with electrical tape. Their coach wore fake Yeezys bought in Divisoria. They were unknowns to most of the Western audience. But back home, internet cafes from Tondo to Davao had watch parties running. Projector screens hanging crooked over rows of CRT monitors and plastic chairs. The match was just a group stage game. Technically, it wasn't an elimination game. But the internet doesn't care about brackets. It cares about moments. Moments like the one that happened when a desk host lobbed VexX what should have been a boring, standard pre-match question. How are you feeling going up against the Philippine representatives? The host asked, mic beneath her chin. Smile practiced. VexX smirked, leaning into his mic. Honestly, he said, I mean, they're probably good in their cafes. But this is land. This is real pain. No more 200 Ms. excuses. Filipinos can't compete at a real international level. Their scrim practice at best. The crowd laughed, some uncomfortably, some enthusiastically. The camera cut to the Filipino team. Their captain, Gio, kept his expression neutral, but his jaw flexed. Beside him, Mix, their quiet support player, stared straight ahead, fingers interlaced so tightly his knuckles whitened. In an internet cafe in Quezon City, 23-year-old Paul, who had grown up sharing one PC with three cousins in a shop that smelled like instant noodles and sweat, slammed their hand on the table. Grade 2, he muttered. Ginawang punchline ang buong Filipinos. The clip hit social media within minutes. On one side of the screen, VexX smoking. On the other, the Filipino team sitting still, absorbing it. The caption, he really said Filipinos can't compete. Filipino Twitter lit up. Okay, now I need them to win. Not him talking about ping when our boys grew up on 300 Ms public Wi-Fi. Barangay 5. This is your villain origin story. Please, back in the players' room, Coach Ramon shut the door, muting the muffled roar of the arena. He looked at his players Gio, Mix, Arban, CJ, and Col kids who had spent more hours in cramped internet cafes than in their own bedrooms. Kids who had dodged pence with Magaro Conole, walling future solo, and debt collectors and brownouts and modems that overheated when the fan died. You heard him, Ramon said. Whole Philippines heard him. CJ muttered. Ramon nodded. Good. Now, forget the anger. Lock in. You know your story already. This is just the camera catching up. He clacked a remote, bringing up their match prep on the TV. Team Apex's favorite guns, VexX's habits, their late game. Macro, weak points. Remember, Ramon said, they have perfect aim. You have perfect grit. You have played scrims half asleep at 3 a.m. After class, you have played with dogs barking, tricycles outside, kids screaming Polo beside you. You have won games while the cafe owner shouted last game now. Behind you. What is an arena compared to that? Gio took a deep breath. Draft Nathan, he asked. Ramon smiled. We're not just going to play their game. We're going to drag them into us. On stage, the draft phase began. The casters talked through meter picks, crowd favorites, and possible cheesy strategies. To most viewers, it looked standard, but in the Filipino watch parties, veterans recognized something. UI, an older gamer said in a Cebu cafe. Leaning forward, Prang Classic comes to, Prang season to Soshop.E. Team Barangay 5 drafted an odd mix heroes that rewarded chaotic skirmishes, global presence, and map-wide pressure instead of tidy, textbook team fights. It was the kind of composition that didn't look pretty on paper but punished any team that got too cocky, too eager to chase kills instead of objectives. Game 1 started badly for the Filipinos. Stage nerves, maybe. Apex took early towers. Vex styled on Gio in lane, landing skill shots with infuriating precision. The knock crowd chanted his name. The casters talked about a clear gap in fundamentals. Barangay 5 lost in 23 minutes. On the desk, the analysts shook their heads. This is what Vex was talking about, one said. You can't just grind ladder in internet cafes and walk into this level of coordination. In the Filipino watch parties, the mood dipped. But no one left. They knew series weren't won in one game. They knew best of threes had room for miracles. Backstage, Ramon didn't raise his voice. What did you notice? He asked. Vex is overextending once he's ahead, Miggs said quietly. He's diving deep because he thinks we're scared. I can't match him laning fees, Gio admitted. He's reading all my trades. Good, Ramon said. Then stop trying to beat him in lane. Beat him on the map. You're not here to ego loop. You're here to make the right decisions when it matters. In Game 2, Barangay 5 changed everything. They started giving up small trades, letting Vex take early kills in exchange for cross-map objectives. While he chased solo highlights for his montage, they stacked dragons and set up vision traps. They forced fights not round where he wanted to play, but where he was least comfortable. Fog of war skirmishes, split fights, messy scrambles where perfect mechanics mattered less than instinct and trust. The caster's tone shifted. Okay, this is different. Philippines playing the long game here. At 28 minutes, with Apex slightly ahead in kills but even in gold. A crucial fight broke out round back. Apex thought they had the flank. Vex dove deep, deleting Carl in a burst of pixel-perfect combos. Then he realized, half a second too late, that he was alone. The rest of his team had been zoned off by Mig's perfect crowd control. Gio and Arvin turned on Vex, chaining ultimates in a sequence they had practiced 1,000 times in a cafe with lag spikes and flickering monitors. Vex's health bar evaporated. The crowd gasped. The Filipinos cleaned up the fight 4-4-0 and took Baron. Someone in the L arena started a chant. Let's go PH. Clap, 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 let's go PH. The NOR fans looked round, surprised to find themselves joining in. 17 minutes later, Barangay 5 ended Game 2. Series tied 1-1 in the post-game shot. The camera caught VexX's face. The smirk was gone. He wasn't angry yet, just recalculating. Twitter exploded. From Filipinos can't compete to losing game 2. Internet cafe gamers said hello. This is no longer a match. This is a national event. Game 3 would decide the group. Technically, both teams could still advance or drop based on other matches. But the internet had decided this was now personal. Coach Ramon gathered his team for the last time that day. He didn't talk long. Last game, he said, "You already proved you belong here. Now prove something to yourselves. You don't just belong. You can win." Gio looked at his teammates, at Mix, who still sent part of his cafe salary home to his parents, at Carl, who had dropped out of engineering school to pursue Esports full-time against every relative's advice, at CJ and Alan, the duo who had played together since they were 14 on PCS that crashed every 3 games. Pera saw Canilla, Gio asked. Pera saw la hoding pinagtawanan. Migs replied. For everyone they laughed at. Game 3 was chaos. Both teams abandoned safe plays. Apex pulled out a pocket pick strategy designed to snowball early. Barangay 5 drafted a composition with terrifying late-game potential but a brutal early-leaning phase. The casters said what everyone thought. If Philippines survives 15 minutes, this gets scary. They barely survived. At 10 minutes, they were down 0-6 in kills, 2 towers and a dragon. The gold gap looked huge. Chat spammed GG easy and back to the cafe jokes. Clips of VexX's pre-match trash talk resurfaced with captions like prophecy fulfilling. But the Filipinos didn't FF. They turtled, clearing waves under tower, refusing to give up shutdowns. They focused every scrap of gold on their late-game carries. They trusted each other's scaling. They watched timers, not tweets. At 20 minutes, something shifted. Apex tried to dive bot lane again, hunting what they thought was an easy kill on CJ. But this time, he sidestepped the engage by a pixel, buying 2 extra seconds. 2 seconds was enough for Migs to rotate. Enough for Gio to teleport in. Enough for Arvin to hit a game-changing ultimate. The result was a 3-4-0 trade in favor of the Philippines. The gold gap shrank. The chants grew louder. Let's go PH. Clap, 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 clap at 28 minutes. The map was even. Both teams danced round Baron, trading vision. One mistake would decide everything. That mistake came from the one player who had been sure he couldn't make one. Vex saw an angle. A flank through an unwatered jungle path he'd used to win a dozen other games. He took it, confident that his fingers could carry him through any risk. He didn't know that Migs had baited that path on purpose. Filipino watch parties saw it before many pros did a subtle ward placed 30 seconds earlier. A path left accidentally open. Years of playing round gank pots in cramped cafes had made Migs see angles others missed. As Vex moved into the fog, ready to delete card again, he found not a lonely marksman, but the entire Filipino team waiting in the brush. In 1 second, for abilities layered on him. Stuns, knock-ups, burst damage. His health vanished. His screen went grey. The arena's reaction was a physical wave of sound. He's down. Vex is down. Barangay 5 rushed Baron, secured it, then marched down mid. Apex tried to defend, but every trade went in the Filipinos' favor now. Their late-game comp had come online. Their confidence surged. Their comms, heard later in a documentary, were calm but electric. Tower, tower, tower. Focus, focus, and game. Huag Nomag Pokahiro. In 35 minutes, they destroyed the Nexus. The crowd roar hurt eardrums, casters screamed. Clips were born in real time. The director cut to shots of Filipino fans crying, hugging, waving flags they'd smuggled past security. On the other side of the world, in a café in Iloilo, an owner wiped his eyes and yelled, Liberalod sala hotingeon, Panolo ga anignatin. The post-game stage interview was inevitable. The host turned to Gio. At the start of this series, VexX said Filipinos can't compete at a real international level. What do you have to say now that you've beaten him in front of the world? Gio took a breath. Rina held it. We grew up playing with 200 Mizping. He said, we played with 6 kids talking behind us, with tricycles outside, with brownouts, with cafe timers saying 5 minutes left. We learned to focus through everything. So when someone says Filipinos can't compete, he looked directly into the camera. We've been competing our whole lives. You just weren't watching. The clip hit every platform. 30 million views, 50, 100 by the end of the week. It had been re-uploaded, subtitled in 7 languages, and stitched into countless reaction videos. VexX's trash talk clip and Gio's answer became a before and after meme. Expectation. Filipinos can't compete. Reality. Filipinos reverse swept your favorites on Bad Pig. To his credit, VexX didn't run. He went live on stream 2 days later. The title, I Was Wrong. Hundreds of thousands tuned in. Some to hate, some to see if he'd double down, some just for drama. He took a breath on camera, the same stage lights now replaced by his room's RGB glow. I said, Filipinos can't compete. He began. That was ignorant. I've watched the VODs. I've watched their cafe setups. I've seen their grind. They beat us fair, with worse conditions than I've ever had to deal with. That's not a fluke. That's skill and discipline also. Yeah, I was wrong. They're legit. And I'd be honored to scrim them again. He paused, glanced at chat flooding with respect and about time. To all the Filipino gamers I disrespected. My bad. The apology clip itself hit 50 million views. Sponsorships followed Barangay 5. Not all life-changing, but enough so no one had to choose between tuition and gaming ever again. They upgraded cafes back home. They started a fund for promising young players in the provinces. They filmed a documentary episode in their home shops, showing rows of kids hunched over PCs that froze every now and then, but whose dreams didn't. The lesson from that Los Angeles stage isn't just about gaming. It's about who gets told they're not allowed in certain spaces. For decades, people have looked at Filipino gamers and seen only noise boys wasting time in cafes, girls playing for fun, kids ruining their future. They looked at the lag, the cheap BCS, the cramped rooms, and assumed those conditions produced only bad habits and wasted potential. What they missed was what those conditions also built: focus under distraction, adaptability under pressure. Teamwork born not from corporate boot camps, but from years of surviving together in tight spaces, with shared headphones and shared snacks. The next time someone laughs and says Filipinos can't compete, remember this: the world's stages are already full of Filipinos quietly proving otherwise. On gaming stages, in hospitals, on ships, in classrooms, in kitchens, in labs. Sometimes all it takes is one loud, arrogant sentence to give them the chance to make the whole world finally pay attention. And when they do, the internet breaks not because it surprised Filipinos were good, but because it realizes it had been underestimating them the entire time.